Chair Trend, Industrialization and Investments.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, 6th August 2025. Report of the Standing Order of Trade, Industrialization and Tourism on the Cooperative Bill of 2024, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2024. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, next order, clerk. Notices.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Yes, sir. Senator Chair, delegated legislation. Give notice of motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the motion that the Senate adopts the report of the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the environmental management and coordination, strategic and integrated environmental assessment and environmental audits number 2, regulations 2025, legal notice number 71 of 2025, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday 6, 2025, and that pursuant to section 18 of the Census Instrument, the Senate resolves to annul the environmental management and coordination, strategic and integrated environmental assessment and environmental audits number 2, regulations number 25.
Next on the clerk.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
We have two questions understanding order 53-1. The first one from Senator Sigei Ilali, Wakili Ilali Sigei. Next, so that statement is dropped. Next is Senator Lelengwe Litumbesi. Senator Lelengwe has approached me that this statement be deferred to a later date. Next on the clerk.
Will start talking, then they leave.
So, Honorable Senators, let me rearrange the business to this order paper. We first dispense of putting the questions on order number 9, 10, and 11. Then we come back to order number 8, the chair and delegated. So, next on the clerk.
Order number 9, motion. Reports of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on its inquiry into the state of markets in Vihiga and Bungoma counties, arising from a statement sought by Senator Godfrey Osotsi, MP, and Senator David Wakoli, MP. Question to be put.
Honorable Senators, this motion does not affect counties, understanding on 84-1. But let me first confirm from my clerk whether we have quorum to help us put the question. Okay. Therefore, honorable senators, I put the question that the Senate adopts reports of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on its inquiry into the state of markets in Vihiga and Bungoma counties, arising from the statements sought by Senator Godfrey Ososi, MP, and Senator David Wafula Wakoli, MP, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 1st October 2024. Whereas many as of that opinion say aye. Whereas many as of contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 10, motion. Report of the Standing Committee on Health on the County Oversight and Networking Engagements to Taita Taveta, Mombasa, and Kwale counties. Question to be put.
Senators, again, this matter does not affect counties, and since we have quorum, I proceed to put the question. Honorable Senators, I put the question that the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Health on the County Oversight and Networking Engagements to Taita Taveta, Mombasa, and the Kwale counties, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 5th December 2024. Whereas many as of that opinion say aye. Whereas many as of a contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. Next on the clerk.
Order number 11, motion. Report of the Standing Committee on Health on inspection tour of health facilities in West Pokot, Trans Nzoia, and Turkana counties. Question to be put.
Honourable Senators, I put the question that the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Health on the inspection tour of health facilities in West Pokot, Trans Nzoia, and Turkana counties, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 5th December 2024. Whereas many as of that opinion say aye. Whereas many, Senator Joyce Korir. Whereas many as of a contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. Therefore, now we go back to order number 8, Honorable Senators. Senator Mboni Karore, you know when the chair is upstanding again, I want to remind you. Yeah, I can see you are really testing my cool. Yeah. So Senator Karore, you know Senator Mboni Karore sometimes behaves nicely. Until now you went to talk to him. And he started laughing. Senator Mwenda Gataya? Who is the owner? Yeah? Okay, just a minute. Next one, the clerk.
Order number 8, motion. Report of the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the environmental management and coordination, strategic and integrated environmental assessments and environmental audits. Number 2, Regulation 2025, Legal Notice number 71 of 2025.
Chair, delegated registration.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. This is a motion, the report of the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the environmental management and the coordination, strategic and integrated environmental assessments and environmental audits number 2, regulations 2025, legal notice number 71 of 2025. That the Senate adopt the report on the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the environmental management and coordination, strategic and integrated environmental assessments, and the environmental audits number 2, regulatory number 2025, legal notice number 71 of 2025, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 6 August 2025, and that pursuant to Section 18 of the Statutory Instruments, the Senate resolved to annul the environmental management and coordination strategic and integrated environmental assessments and the environmental audits number 2, regulation number 2025, legal notice number 71 of 2025. Honorable Speaker, my committee was able to go through the report of these regulations. And it's unfortunate that quite a number of issues were not observed, including the public participation. The public participation was carried was 2018, which has been outdated up to date. We have also observed that the impact assessment was not observed. And in this respect, Honorable Speaker, we also have the petitioners from the Environmental Institute of Kenya, who have brought some petitions before this committee. And we thought that the regulator, which is the ministry, should go back and republish. So in this respect, Honorable Speaker, the committee resolved that these regulations will be announced to enable the ministry put its house in order. So in this respect, Honorable Speaker, I request Honorable Ndalison Mungatana to second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Delegated Legislation Committee wishes, I rise to second this motion, that we are seeking the support of the House to annul Regulation 2025, the Strategic and Integrated Environmental Assessments and Environmental Audits number 2, Regulations 2025, Legal Notice number 71 of 2025. We are seeking the support of the House to annul this regulation. Mr. Speaker, and for the benefit of the House, when we make laws, the power to make laws remains with this House. The executive is supposed to only execute the laws that we give them. So when we make the law in this House and we put a clause to say that the minister or the cabinet secretary may make regulations, those regulations still need to come back to this House so that we can look at them to see if those regulations are carried out in accordance with the donated power that we have given to the cabinet secretary. And we look at two things, Mr. Speaker. We look at whether when the minister was giving the regulations, was making those regulations, did he consult stakeholders? Did he carry out or did she carry out public participation? If this wasn't done, Mr. Speaker, we have the obligation as a committee, on your behalf, honorable senators, to say that those regulations do not meet the standard that is required in this House. Number two, when we donate this power to the minister for him to make regulation or for her to make regulations, this power is still our power. We are required, under the Statutory Instruments Act, to also check whether the minister or the cabinet secretary created a document called Regulatory Impact Assessment Report. So this RIA, the minister must be able to say the impact of this regulation will be this way on the people of Kenya. A simple document. So, Mr. Speaker, in this case, the cabinet secretary in charge of environment came before the committee and told us on these regulations, he she had done public participation 7 years ago. So, honorable members, if somebody comes and tells you that they did 7 years ago is when they did public participation, surely public participation 7 years ago is outdated. So we asked, where's the regulatory impact assessment report on these regulations? They were not able to produce that. So we were magnanimous as a committee, and we said, Cabinet Secretary, go back and make amends, but this has not been done. Go and republish these regulations. Go and do public participation, because environmental regulations, which were done 7 years ago as public participation, cannot surely be relevant at this time. And Mr. Speaker, the Institute of Environment practitioners, those people in that space, they came and made serious petition before the committee. And the committee, had their complaints. So we asked the minister, just go and do it properly. It will not cost too much time. It will not cost you a lot. Just let the people have their say, because it is a constitutional requirement that you subject the regulations to public participation. Mr. Speaker, this wasn't done, and for that reason, we recommend to this House that we annul these regulations. If we annul these regulations, then the minister will go and put her house in order and bring them back in the proper format, because we have already said what needs to be done. Unfortunately, the time lapsed. The minister never came back to us. So under the circumstances, Mr. Speaker, I rise to second on behalf of the committee and recommend support of this House that we annul these regulations. The practitioners around the environment space have said these regulations have a problem. If we leave them to go the way they are, if the Senate allows it to go the way, if we let it pass, it will be unfair to the people of Kenya to tell them that they are going to be bound by regulations that public participation happened 7 years ago, even before we took up the mandate in this House. So, Mr. Speaker, I beg to second, and I ask members of the committee, not members of the committee, but members of this House, if you can support us so that we can be able to do what is right. When we annul the regulations, we are required to come back to this House. If we accede to regulations, we don't have to come back to this House. In this case, we have annulled the regulations, and we have come back to this House for your endorsement. Mr. Speaker, I beg to second. I thank you.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Senate endorse the report of the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the environmental management and coordination, strategic and integrated environmental assessments and environmental audits, number 2, regulations 2025, legal notice number 71 of 2025, laid to the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 6th August 2025. And pursuant to Section 18 of the Statutory Instruments Act, the Senate resolves to annul the environmental management and coordination, strategic and integrated environmental assessments and environmental audits number 2, regulations 2025, legal notice number 71 of 2025. Now, let me open the floor for debate. Senator Chalegei Samson.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I think I'll be very brief, because the report of delegated is just to annul, and I want to agree with the committee of delegated legislation led by Senator Mwanda Katai and the committee by saying the following. Mr. Speaker, under Article 10 of the Constitution, one of the cornerstone of any engagement on national values and principles of good governance is public participation. It is shocking that the cabinet secretary concerned would go ahead and bring a public participation that was done 7 years ago, Mr. Speaker. It is embarrassing, and it is one of the lame excuses, an unfortunate report that was taken. I think is it called laziness? Because how do you bring a report of 7 years? Many things have changed. We didn't have artificial intelligence, we now have. Mr. Speaker, children who are not born yet there are now in PP1, PP2, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, people who had disappeared 7 years ago have been declared presumed dead under the law. So, Mr. Speaker, what are we saying? You know, this is the incompetence that we try sometimes to call out, Mr. Speaker. That this is incorrigible incompetence. You cannot bring, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank the Committee of Delegated Legislation. In Kiambu, Finance Bill of 2013, the courts reason and say one of the critical and ingredient of modern day era under post-Constitution 2010 of Kenya was something called public participation, Mr. Speaker. Any public officer, and I agree with the committee, any public officer in the public space must know that public participation going into the future is no longer a privilege, is no longer a by the way, or abracadabra, or brouhaha, Mr. Speaker. It is the cornerstone of a modern day democracy that we have as a country, Mr. Speaker. So I want to thank the committee for this industrious act on the report that they have brought, and they must be annulled, Mr. Speaker, because even when you look, second and final, Mr. Speaker, when you look at the Statutory Instruments Act as revised in 2023, Mr. Speaker, there is what we call explanatory memo and what we call regulation making authority. Mr. Speaker, the reading of section 4 of that act on the objects, one of the critical and important points is public participation and consultation of the stakeholders, which was never done, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, this was a clear violation of the act that put in place the concerned ministry by bringing these regulations that concern with the environmental issues that Mwenda Kataya-led team has been brought before the House, Mr. Speaker. Even in section 5 of the act itself provides for an explanatory memo. You must explain to the public what is the need, the purpose, the intention. Mr. Speaker, the era of operating in mystery in public space is no longer there. There is no luxury. We are in a digital age. Even your visitors in your gallery know more than some of us, Mr. Speaker. So this is no longer about night running. Many government officers want to operate like night runners. It can no longer apply in this country. That's my worry, Mr. Speaker. Night running can happen as an exercise in some region. I don't want to mention those regions because I'll receive a rat from some of the members. I know they do night running, Mr. Speaker. But the point that I want to mention is every government officer, from the county government, and when you see Senator Outsource smiling, of course you know. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I have just said he's smiling. Mr. Speaker, I just say he's smiling.
What
Even
is your
Kataya
point of order,
smiles.
Senator Osusi?
Mr. Speaker, I was smiling because I know what Senator Cherargei, my neighbor, is saying is not applicable to me. Because where I come from, people are serious Christians and they are not night runners. Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, my apologies. I know him as a serious Christian. Every Sunday he attends a number of churches. Another. I don't know why Senator Kalwale is uncomfortable. Unless he knows where the night runners are. He can discuss with me under chai and mandazi later in the lounge. Mr. Speaker, and that is why when you look at section 7, in conclusion, there must be reasons. The point I'm trying to drive home, hot and dry, Mr. Speaker, is very simple. That the officers at county and national government should know you can no longer operate in secrecy in matters of the public. Anything that concerns the public, be it policy, be it legislative, be it any action, you must account to the public. And the only way to account to the public, Mr. Speaker, is through public participation. I salute, Mr. Speaker, and I know it will go in answer, the Committee of Delegation. And I know even our courts are watching. And I want to thank Senator Mwenda Kataya, because most of the decisions we make on the floor of the House, sometimes, mutatis mutandis, courts of law borrow the reason of Parliament because they believe we have more weight because we are the representatives of the people, as per Article 96, Mr. Speaker. So to Mwenda Kataya-led committee, I celebrate you, Mr. Speaker. This is a very direct matter. Let's move and annul. Call the minister in charge in order, Mr. Speaker. Let her bring another regulations. We are ready because our business is to legislate, is to represent, Mr. Speaker, and to ensure we have proper legislative and policy interventions in place. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks and to cede ground for my colleagues, allow me to raise my submissions by supporting the annulment of this report. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Munyihaji Mohamed Faki.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii kuunga mkono ripoti ya kamati ya sheria endelevu ambayo imewasilishwa na mwenyekiti wa kamati hiyo Mheshimiwa Senator Mwenda Gataya Mofaya kutoka Tharaka. Mheshimiwa Spika, kanuni hizi ambazo zilikuwa zimechapishwa na Waziri wa Mazingira zilipingwa vikali na lile shirika linalojiita Environmental Institute of Kenya, ambayo ni taasisi inayojumuisha wale wataalamu wengi wanaohusika na mambo ya mazingira. Mheshimiwa Spika, taasisi hiyo ilipinga hizi kanuni kwa sababu hawakuhusishwa katika ile tunaita kwa Kiingereza public participation ama uhusishaji wa umma, ambayo ndiyo katiba ya Kenya inasema kwamba sheria yoyote ambayo inapitishwa ama kanuni zozote ambazo zinapitishwa ni lazima zipitie uhusishaji wa umma, yani public participation. Mheshimiwa Spika, swala jingine ambalo taasisi hii ilipinga hizi sheria ni kwamba sheria zilichapishwa mwaka 2018 ambapo wakati huo, Mheshimiwa Spika, mazingira ya kazi yalikuwa ni tofauti na mazingira ambayo yako sasa. Kwa hivyo waziri na wataalamu wenzake walipokuja mbele ya kamati hii, walishindwa kuthibitisha kwa kamati kwamba zile kanuni ambazo zilihusishwa mwaka 2018 ndizo hizi kanuni ambazo zilichapishwa katika gazeti notice ya mwaka huu. Vile vile, Mheshimiwa Spika, walishindwa kuthibitisha kwa kamati kwamba walikuwa wamefanya ile inaitwa regulatory impact assessment, ambao ni sheria ya kwanza ambayo lazima ile taasisi inayotengeneza sheria endelezi kwamba lazima watengeneze regulatory impact assessment, kwamba wameweza kufanya hiyo assessment na wakaona kwamba zile kanuni ambazo wanazileta ziko sawa. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa haya matatizo haya mawili, kamati ilimpa fursa waziri ili kuweza kurekebisha ama aweze kuziondolea mbali kanuni hizo. Mheshimiwa Spika, katika mkutano uliofanyika tarehe 28 Julai, waziri alipewa fursa hiyo na akakubali kwamba ataziondoa. Lakini kwa masikitiko ni kwamba hakuweza kuziondoa, na alijua nafikiri kwamba baada ya muda hizi kanuni zitaweza kuwa ni sheria bila ya sisi bunge kuzikataa. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, ni muhimu kwamba bunge hili lipige kura ya kukubali hii ripoti ya kamati ya sheria endelezi, kwa sababu tunajaribu kulinda maslahi ya Wakenya, tunajaribu kulinda maslahi ya wale ambao watahusishwa ama wataathiriwa zaidi na sheria hizi. Tumeona kwamba mara nyingi kamati ambazo ama taasisi ambazo zinaunda hizi sheria endelezi, Mheshimiwa Spika, tekelezi kulingana na ile sheria ya Statutory Instruments Act mwaka 2013 ambayo inatoa mwongozo ni vipi ambavyo watatengeneza sheria endelezi na vipi ambavyo wataweza kuwahusisha wananchi katika mambo kama hayo. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa kukosa huku kufanya uhusishaji wa umma, yani public participation, vile vile kwa kuweza kuleta sheria ama kanuni ambazo zilichapishwa mwaka 2018, inapasa kamati tukubaliane nao kwamba hizi sheria hazifai kutekelezwa, kwa hivyo zitupuliwe mbali kama ilivyopendekeza kamati hii. Mheshimiwa Spika, vile vile hizi kanuni zinajaribu kuongeza malipo, yani zile fees ambazo wataalamu wanatakana kulipa. Mheshimiwa Spika, tukiangalia zile ambazo walichapishwa mwaka 2018 ni tofauti na zile ambazo wamezieleza sasa katika sheria endelezi. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, naunga mkono ripoti hii na ningependa kwamba bunge la Senate liweze kukataa hizi kanuni na zitupilie mbali. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
I have this communication to make on the students visiting from the Starehe Boys Center and School and Alliance High School and the school's voluntary service scheme, VSS. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon of students from Starehe Boys Center and School and Alliance High School. The students are undertaking a 2-week service in the Senate under the voluntary service scheme for schools. I request the students to stand when called out so that they may be acknowledged in the Senate tradition. One is Craig Issa, is in Form 3. Dean Kalanja, Form 3. Anthony Mutimba, Form 2. Daniel Wandiri, Form 3. Collins Jugona, Form 3. Melvin Mugambi, Form 4. Moses Bruce, Form 3. Enoch Mogile, Form 2. Yes. In our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Senate, I extend a warm welcome to the students, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. Thank you. The student who was not recognized can also stand to be recognized. I don't have his name here. Any former student or alumni of Alliance High School?
Mr.
Senator
Speaker,
Mugatana.
I am an alumni of Alliance High School, so may I take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to join you in welcoming the students from the good old school. Mr. Speaker, we have a motto there, strong to serve. And I'm glad that they have come here on voluntary, which means, Mr. Speaker, they are not being paid. They are carrying out the motto that we had even in those days, that we remain strong to serve. Mr. Speaker, in many years, I served as a house captain of Arthur House. I believe one of them must be from Arthur House, because we always used to excel in matters like this, of giving to community and also serving. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to tell the students, even the ones from Starehe High School, that if you keep working hard, it is the small steps and consistency. If you keep working hard and you keep consistent at what you do, one day God will honor your efforts. And I want to encourage you that all of us here, once upon a time, we were as young as you, and we worked our way this side through our different professions that we did, and we got the support of our electorate to bring us here, and we are making our contributions here. We want to encourage you to also aspire to one day sit not at the gallery but here, fighting for your people's rights and making this country better. With those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to welcome them. Thank you.
Very well. Let's go back to the business of the day, to the motion. Senator Kisang William.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also rise to support the annulment of the regulations as brought by the Chair of Delegated Legislation, Senator Mofaya. Honorable Speaker, the institutions need to know that, the making of laws is a preserve of Parliament. It's for both this House, the Senate, the National Assembly, and it's also very clear in Article 96 of the Constitution that our mandate is representation, legislation, and oversight, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we are surprised that the CS environment is relying on the public participation that was done 2018, 7 years ago. And this is particularly a very dynamic area, Honorable Speaker. With the climate change, things are changing every day. And the CS should have seen it wise to do public participation. Colleagues have said this is basically being lazy, either lazy or incompetent, Honorable Speaker. That's why it's important that we annul to pass a message to the CSs. We have donated powers to do regulations to ensure that they consult the stakeholders thoroughly, Honorable Speaker. Otherwise, we can pass in this House, and then outside there, the courts will basically, somebody will go to court, and the regulations will be basically suspended. Honorable Speaker, public participation is a good thing. It's very healthy. It is good to engage people. Let us hear what they are saying. When we are passing the laws also in this particular House, we put notice in the papers. 14 days, people come with memorandum, we invite them, we discuss, the committees engage, and they can reach a compromise so that, something that is agreeable to all parties. But I wonder why this particular entity decided that to bring a report or public participation for 7 years ago, when even the stakeholders have changed, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is basically delaying. These are regulations should be in effect, already in place, but because of just negligence or laziness, we are going back, we are annulling, we are wasting time for our people. We are using resources, we are wasting resources that are not even there, Honorable Speaker. So I beg to support, and we caution the CS that please get back to the committee, engage, create time and meet. Otherwise, you are letting down our people. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to support the annulment of these particular regulations.
Senator Ososi Gonfrey, Atieno.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also stand to support the motion that the regulation cited be annulled. Mr. Speaker, the Constitution is very clear that lawmaking is a preserve of Parliament. That is the National Assembly and the Senate. And the only institution which has the powers to make laws enforceable in Kenya is Parliament. But we have allowed other government institutions to make regulations. But even as they make those regulations, they must ensure that those regulations strictly comply to the Statutory Instrument Act, so that if they don't comply, then this House has the powers to annul those regulations. Mr. Speaker, we have instances in government where you find that they come up with the regulations which are not processed as per the Statutory Instrument Act. And you find that those regulations run for years. I want to call upon the Committee of Delegated Legislation to be on the lookout so that such regulations should be brought to this house, and we do what we are just about to do, annul them, Mr. Speaker, because they do not have powers to make laws, and they can only make laws with the permission of this house through the Statutory Instrument Act. So I want to agree that if regulations have not aligned to the requirements of the Statutory Instrument Act, particularly on the issue of public participation or compliance to the Constitution, then those regulations should be annulled. And there are so many other regulations, Mr. Speaker, that are currently operating illegally. I think it's important for us to search around and ensure that those regulations are either passed by this House or are annulled by this House. I support, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Dr. Boni Kalwale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is not a casual decision that the House is about to make. It is a decision that is hinged in the Constitution of Kenya. Any attempt by any person, Mr. Speaker, other than the National Assembly and the Senate, any attempt to make laws should be at all times be declared null and void. Why do I say this, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, because of the provisions of Article 94 of the Constitution, which, Mr. Speaker, states as follows: that the legislative authority of the Republic is derived from the people, and the national level is vested in exercise by Parliament. In subsection 5, it goes further to clarify that no person or body other than Parliament has the power to make provision having the force of law in Kenya except under authority conferred by this Constitution or by legislation. Mr. Speaker, this is the import of the annulment that we are all supporting. We would like the minister, upon receiving the annulment, to realize that she was trying to impersonate Parliament. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I wonder what became of the Kenya School of Government, and if it is still functional. These 22 ministers, have they been given an opportunity to sit there so that they know how Parliament works, how government works, and how the judiciary works? I therefore strongly, Mr. Speaker, support the annulment and want to laugh at 2 points. The first one, Mr. Speaker, is lack of public participation. I laugh at it. And the second one, the suggestion by the minister that they were contented by the fact that this public participation that they are relying on was done 7 years ago. Why do I laugh at both? I laugh and dismiss the stand of the minister on public participation because, thanks to taking for granted the role of the public in lawmaking, many pieces of legislation that have gone through this House have always been thrown out by the courts. Secondly, why do I laugh of the issue of public participation that is 7 years old? I would like it to occur to the minister, Mr. Speaker, that a child who was 14 years old 7 years ago is today 21. And Mr. Speaker, that child is now an adult who is able to advise us on how a proposed law that we are making is going to affect him or is affecting him. In fact, it's unfortunate, and I think the clerks at the desk will advise me. We had a bill called the Public Participation bill of 2024. I have missed a total of 5 sittings in this parliament. I don't know whether that bill was able to pass through. If it has not, then we need to see through the public participation bill so that we create the act for all who care to understand the irreducible minimum for public participation. Why, Mr. Speaker? Because there are 3 strong pillars in public participation which you cannot take for granted, and the minister better appreciates this. 1, we have the political pillar. 2, we have the pillar on policy. And finally, Mr. Speaker, we have the social pillar. They are not things that can just be wished away. If you don't address these things, Mr. Speaker, that is how we end up with laws that are either in conflict with other laws, or in conflict with the Constitution, or in conflict with the aspirations of the people who have donated the sovereign power to us. Mr. Speaker, I support the committee that we annul. Thank you.
Senator Alun Cheruyot.
Mr. Speaker, I have tried to get a copy of this report for a while now because I wanted to read and establish the full reasons. It has taken time, but nonetheless, I'll comment on a very specific thing that I wanted to say. You know, Mr. Speaker, we live in a country where, for whatever reason, saying bad things about institutions, about individuals that are in public office, seem to be the vogue thing. And everybody is trying to outdo each other, Mr. Speaker, on public platform, here in Parliament, in funerals, to say the nastiest things about public institutions and individuals. I don't understand, Mr. Speaker, as a public figure, what people gain from doing such. Because unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, I have, with a bit of experience, taken time to study and appreciate the world as it is today, and realize that there is nothing unique about us as a country. We have all the indicators and the markers of a great republic. But unfortunately, due to obsession with negativity, Mr. Speaker, if somebody was to learn from us, they would imagine that perhaps they live in the world's most filthiest or most corrupt nation. Yet look at what we are doing this afternoon, Mr. Speaker. A committee of the Senate is annulling regulations that have been proposed by the executive. You will never find this in a headline. But you dare make a decision, Mr. Speaker, where you agree with something that has been proposed by the executive. Tomorrow, the Standard newspaper will carry a headline: Parliament disappoints again. Social media critics, very useless people, Mr. Speaker, some of whom have absolutely no record of anything useful they've ever done in this life, but are very critical of this institution called Parliament, Mr. Speaker, simply because they hold a different view. And sometimes Parliament does things which in their wisdom, Mr. Speaker, consider to be right. What am I pursuing, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, Senator Boni Karwale.
Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just would like to request the Senator of Kericho to consider withdrawing the unparliamentary remark that the people on social media are useless people. We have many people, including the President of the United States of America, is on social media. The President of Kenya has the biggest following on social media. I have a following running in millions on social media. We are not useless. Is he in order to use unparliamentary language against all of us who use social media, Mr. Speaker? Could he be asked to withdraw and apologize?
Mr. Speaker, I know the Senator for Kakamega is an addict of social media and loves that space. Perhaps he may even have been scrolling his phone. That's why he didn't get my comments. I said there are some. That's very basic and elementary, which I'm sure my whip understands, that it is not a wholesome condemnation of everybody who uses social media. That there are people, in fact, I was quick enough to qualify, that there are people of no known achievements, but they have made it their business, Mr. Speaker, to disparage this House when it does duty on a certain item to which they disagree with the eventual finding. And I said, today is one such occasion, Mr. Speaker, that, for example, if Parliament was to do, if today we are to agree with the report of this committee and we eventually vote on it and agree with them, like many of us are saying, that if our committee on delegated legislation is telling us, good people, reject these regulations, it would be a good thing, because many times you are criticized and are told you are an appendage of the executive, that you agree with everything. But there are many times, Mr. Speaker, that this House does great things. And it doesn't mean necessarily, Mr. Speaker, that disagreeing with the executive is a great thing. Agreeing with them also is equally as good, Mr. Speaker, because Parliament is independent and it makes its decision based on what is in the best interest of the people that vote for you to come to this House, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I want to request that on days such as this, Mr. Speaker, that Parliament flexes its muscles and sends a minister back to the drawing board and says, on this one we do not agree. Just like on other days we agree with them, Mr. Speaker, that it should be given equal prominence as they do. In fact, because now my whip, Senator Boni Alwale, has mentioned about social media, and I know he's an avid user, Mr. Speaker, he will help by either tweeting, which I know he loves doing, or on his Facebook account, to give an account of many such decisions when Parliament takes it. Because when you read through what people say sometimes, you'd think that there's nothing useful that Parliament does. Yet each afternoon, Mr. Speaker, we transact business that is meaningful to the country. The decisions are informed by what is the collective good interest, Mr. Speaker, of the people that you represent in this House, Mr. Speaker, which may not necessarily be that which somebody else may want, either a newspaper editor, a commentator on social issues, Mr. Speaker, a particular politician, Mr. Speaker. You know, unfortunately, our hands are tied most occasions because we don't work for ourselves. We are simply but employees of other people who send us here and say, transact in my best interest, make a decision. This is a very important regulation, for example, because the climate change, Mr. Speaker, and environment management and coordination is a very topical issue globally. Countries, Mr. Speaker, hoggle over each other on these positions. In fact, there's a lot that has been said about other countries that have walked away from commitments that have been made in other places in the climate. The UN Secretary General, Mr. Speaker, for example, spends tons of time speaking on this topic every time he addresses a gathering of the UN or even in public spaces, because climate change is real, Mr. Speaker, and it's affecting our life on a daily basis. And that is why Parliament is telling the minister that you must do the right thing, that you must follow the laid down procedure, that we just amended the Statutory Instruments Act, Mr. Speaker, and drawn from the power granted by the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, have agreed that Parliament has the final say on this, that the people's representatives will either give you the nod to set the regulations or disagree with you if you don't do it in accordance with the law. Public participation, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that Parliament, and I heard somebody say, I don't know who spoke about public participation, it is us as an institution that has failed the country. How can it be, Mr. Speaker, that 13 years after the promulgation, actually 15, this is 2025, after the promulgation of the new constitution, Mr. Speaker, for 3 terms of Parliament, we have been unable to pass legislation that guides public participation, Mr. Speaker, as such that institutions, public entities, county assemblies, judiciary, all these bodies, Mr. Speaker, are left groping in the dark, trying to establish what exactly is public participation. Citizens are fully aware about this, and many times when you make a decision And it could be a decision even as simple as establishing a secondary school in a primary school ground, as is normally the case back in our villages. If you find a primary school that has a lot of space, many times you find the parents gather and they say, we want to establish. Therefore, we are calling upon you, our MP or senator or whoever, to help us establish an institution. Then another faction emerges and they say, no. We need to be consulted. We are the stakeholders. So citizens appreciate the importance of public participation, Mr. Speaker. But as Parliament, we haven't done justice to the country. I know there is a law before the National Assembly, Mr. Speaker, on public participation. And it has taken a while in our counterpart house. It will be important, Mr. Speaker, for us to conclude. Actually, it will be monumental failure on our part, Mr. Speaker, if we conclude this session of Parliament without a substantive law on public participation. Last time we tried, the Senator for Busia, then Senator Amos Wako, brought a bill before this House, and we passed it. Unfortunately, our colleagues in the National Assembly had a different view on that matter, on how that matter needs to be handled. Being the House that we are, Mr. Speaker, which is the House of Reflection, as most Senates are, Mr. Speaker, we are waiting what will be the eventual decision on that matter. Because eventually, Mr. Speaker, once they pass that bill, and I hope they can do it even during this period as we conclude on, as we head on our recess, Mr. Speaker, in the next few hours, I think by tomorrow afternoon. By the time we come back in September, hopefully, Mr. Speaker, if there is no interruption, you know, Mr. Speaker, I don't know why, for some very weird reason, each time we are just about to go on recess, you see a notice of an impeachment of a governor. And somehow it interferes with our programs, Mr. Speaker. So maybe probably we need not to go on any recess if we want governors to survive. Mr. Speaker, I've just seen a notice somewhere as well. I don't know for which county, Mr. Speaker. But I'm just concerned, Mr. Speaker, that each time after we have worked so hard, and you are about to proceed on recess, Mr. Speaker.
Just a minute, Majority Leader. What is your point of order, Senator Okech?
Mr. Speaker, the standing orders of this House are very clear. If there is a member of this House who is anticipating any debate, it needs to be very clear. You're not allowed by our own standing orders, Mr. Speaker, to anticipate a debate. If the majority leader has got some debate that is anticipating on us, so that we can be able to organize ourselves, because some of us have got serious plans for our recess. And you know, anything that comes from majority leader, Mr. Speaker, is not a small matter. It's a very serious issue. You can't just say something that is not there. So is it in order for majority leader, Mr. Speaker, to anticipate a debate that we don't know about? And if it's anticipating one, why can't we just declare to us so that we can know, Mr. Speaker?
The issue is, Senator Okech is asking you to disclose which county is this. I don't know for
Mr.
what
Speaker,
reasons.
I know Senator Eddie Okech's interest in this matter. It is not the debate, Mr. Speaker, but I will choose not to indulge, Mr. Speaker, in that conversation. But the point I was making, Mr. Speaker, is that as a House, even in these matters where county assemblies consult citizens, either with their budget, impeachment proceedings, they struggle. Because as a House, we have not provided guidance on who needs to be consulted. Many times we have read, and I think Senator Boni Alwale referred to it, that there are many laws that are annulled simply on the basis of lack of proper and meaningful public participation, Mr. Speaker. And as a House, it's unfortunate that despite the fact that we have been returned to redo our work actually, many times, because legislation is our constitutional duty, Mr. Speaker, we still have not found it worth, Mr. Speaker, to guide the country on this issue of public participation and why it's important to do this. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I agree. I support this motion by our delegated legislation I hope, Mr. Speaker, that somehow, in the course of the afternoon, actually, at least a soft copy of the report, Senator Mofai, you can share with us on the platform, official business platform, so that beyond the reasons that have so far been canvassed, because the reasons that you are speaking to are the ones that we had you speak to in your moving notes. I want to believe there are more reasons why you annulled these regulations, Senator Mofaya, and it would be good for the House to be properly guided. But with those main remarks, Mr. Speaker, I support the decision to annul these regulations and hope that when the minister finally gets an opportunity to redo them, that they will respect the institution of Parliament, because this is not our duty. We are just simple servants of the people who are exercising delegated power. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Eric Okongo Mogeni. And Chair and Delegated Registration, where is the report? Or the Secretariat? Okay. That will be shared shortly. If it is on the same matter, Sifuna, Senator Sifuna.
Speaker, I just wanted to bring to your attention previously that my unit keeps failing, and therefore I will not appear on your list. As a leader of this House, I don't want to impute any, what is it called? Improper motives on the management of the House. But now, Honorable Speaker, it is becoming increasingly difficult for me to contribute because I will never appear on your screen. I wish I also have things to say. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You appeared on my list this morning. What has happened? In the morning,
this is the reason I wanted to attract your attention, because this keeps happening. Even yesterday, my unit was failing.
No, Senator, and I can see you are on the screen.
And Honorable Speaker, perhaps that is why the majority leader can see things that I can't see.
Can you confirm whether Senator Ende has removed
my
your
unit
card?
is not working.
Somehow. Who are you informing, Senator Faki Mohammed?
The report is circulated in our WhatsApp group. The report we are debating. Yes. Senate business is there. It's just been shared.
Senator Mogeni?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm rising to support the motion that is on the floor by my good friend, Senator Mwenda Gataya. And unlike those who have not seen it, Mr. Speaker, I've had the benefit of going through the reasons that guided the committee in rejecting this report, and I fully support Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you go through the report, the CS, with tremendous respect to him, is purporting to bring regulations before this House for adoption, basing public participation that was held more than 7 years ago. And I mean, how unserious can a cabinet minister holding office in the Republic of Kenya be, Mr. Speaker? Doing public participation 7 years ago, and then you bring a report for adoption, the regulations, not the report. You bring the regulations to the Senate of the Republic of Kenya 7 years after public participation.
Honorable members, can we reduce on the consultation and listen to Senator Mogeni, please?
Yes. And so, Mr. Speaker, there are very good reasons. If you read through this report, through the report of the committee, there are very valid reasons, Madam Speaker, why they have proposed that we should reject these regulations. And Mr. Speaker, I'm happy that the majority leader for once has agreed that this House is not a conveyor belt for the executive. Mr. Speaker, because What is out of order? I've just restated what he said. Maybe in a lawyer's language. I used
Senator
a lawyer's
Majority
language.
Leader, what's the point of order? Senator Mogeni, please.
Mr. Speaker, he's even making it worse when you say you use the lawyer's language, because it means then it's, Mr. Speaker, either that lawyers, anyway, I don't want to get to the, let me get to the substance of what you said, which I don't agree with. He said that for once has agreed, Mr. Speaker, that, sorry, Madam Speaker, my apologies. Did you hear Senator Omogeni impute improper motive on me as a majority leader, Mr. Speaker, by alleging, Madam Speaker, that for once the majority leader has accepted that Parliament is not a conveyor belt? I thought on every afternoon, Madam Speaker, we debate matters of this House and vote as a House, my position on any matter notwithstanding. Therefore, it's completely unfair, and he's imputing improper motive on my part, Madam Speaker, claiming that I turned the business of this House into a conveyor belt. Is he in order, Madam Speaker?
You have imputed an improper motive.
What is imputing the wrong motive? What I've stated is actually on record. If we go through the answer, you could see.
What is on record?
Yeah, what I said, Madam Speaker, and I'm doing this building up on the submissions. on
Senator
the debate.
Mogeni, what is on record and on which record?
Yes.
Senator Sifuna, please. Let the chair respond to this.
Madam Speaker, yesterday we were...
No, Senator Mogeni.
So what have I done that is out of order?
No, what he has said you have imputed an improper
What
motive.
is, we can bring a dictionary
by
and
saying
define
that for
what is
once,
improper motive.
that he said for once,
Can I have a dictionary? We look at,
he has considered. Senator Mogeni, if you listen to me, then you will. It's not about the dictionary. We are not doing the analysis. Please listen to me. He says you have imputed an improper motive by suggesting that for once he is admitting that Parliament is not a conveyor.
Yeah, at least he's on the good side of history.
That's
what I was saying.
Which means he otherwise thinks that Parliament is a conveyor belt.
I mean, Madam Speaker, you know history.
Senator Mogeni.
You know, Madam Speaker.
Senator Sifuna, this is a matter between Senator Mogeni and. Please clarify what you meant.
Okay, what I meant is for once, the majority leader is on the good side of history. He is standing with the people of Kenya. He is supporting the constitution.
Senator Mogeni, what is the point
what
of
I'm saying. He's for once acknowledging, Madam Speaker, that we have three arms of government. We have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Madam Speaker.
Senator Mogeni, please take your seat for a second.
Can you protect me from Senator
Mogeni, are you going to listen to the chair or you're going to exchange without using the chair?
The
please.
only threat I have is from my good friend
Senator Mogeni, please. Senator Cherargei, stop exchanging with Senator Mogeni.
Protect me, Madam Speaker.
No, you need to sit down, then we will protect everyone. Senator Majority, explain you said that it is worse.
Madam Speaker, he has even made it worse now and turned it into an insult. Yes. Because, number one, the Senator for Nyamira wants to arrogate himself powers that he doesn't have. You cannot pretend, Madam Speaker, to be the judge of character in this House. Secondly, if you want to do that, Madam Speaker, then you better do it correctly. Because the Senator for Nyamira is alleging, Mr. Speaker, that I'm always on the wrong side of history, that it is only today that I'm on the right side of history. Is that fair, Madam Speaker?
Senator Sifuna, can you can Senator Mogeni respond to that or withdraw, please?
You know, now
assertion, Senator Mogeni, let me explain this, and I would like you to respect the chair. Your assertion that Senator Majority Leader is never on the right side of history is imputing an improper motive.
In fact, I wanted to
Can
give
you
an-
substantiate that?
Yeah, I can. Madam Speaker, when we brought the regulations...
Can you
on-
substantiate?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm doing. When we brought the regulations on SHA on this floor, Mr. Speaker, you remember the committee brought a report to this House requesting us to annul those regulations, Mr. Speaker. And during that occasion, the majority leader whipped members of that side to disagree.
Senator Mogeni, is that the only occasion or
I
he
can
does
cite
this
many,
deal?
there are more. So what I'm
Senator,
saying, in fact, I wanted to applaud the majority leader. So I don't know why you're giving it a negative connotation. Madam Speaker,
Senator
you know,
Sifuna, please. Senator,
I would like to be informed, I agree. I can be informed.
yes.
Honorable Speaker, I wanted to inform the senator from Nyamira that motive speaks to something in the future. But when you are giving a historical account, you cannot be said to be imputing improper motive. There's no motive to do anything. We are saying that the majority leader has a history in this House of supporting everything the executive proposes. That is a fact. And we were actually, the senator for, no, just a minute.
Senator Sifuna, you are informing Senator Mogeni.
Yes.
You are not debating
Yes, I'm
the
informing
point.
him.
Yes.
Can I finish, Honorable Speaker? That when you speak of an improper motive, it's like the example that I gave here, that my unit.
Senator Sifuna.
That's the information I'm giving.
Are you trying to help him to define improper motive?
Yeah, so that you can properly guide the
So
chair.
you are informing. So you are informing how
Allow
to.
me to inform him.
Yeah.
Allow me to inform him. Honorable Mogeni, you are exactly on the right path because motive speaks to future conduct, but the message you have passed is past conduct. And you are, the way I understood him, Honorable Chair,
Senator,
just a minute, let me finish.
Senator
in 1 minute.
Sifuna, please listen
In
to
1
me.
minute.
Senator Sifuna, if you are affirming what he's saying, what are you informing him?
I'm informing
What
him
are you
of the
informing him?
definition
Please
of
don't
motive.
don't abuse the
Information of
space
motive.
to make your own point. Please sit down.
Can I
Please sit down.
finish? I didn't finish.
Senator Sifuna, please.
I didn't finish.
You did not inform. You are actually analyzing instead of informing.
But we know everybody how they
Senator
behave here.
Sifuna, please.
Everybody knows how they
Senator
behave
Sifuna.
here. We were actually praising him. We
Senator-
were praising him that now he's becoming a good boy.
Senator Sifuna, please. Senator Mogeni, please hold on. Can Senator Majority please raise your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, this is a problem of people who don't want to listen. Madam Speaker, Standing Order number 1014. And Senator Mogeni, if you want us to discuss about each other, I have a lot that I can say about you. But I respect, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Majority, please focus on the point of order on the issue at hand.
Senate Standing Order number 1014, Madam Speaker, if you want to discuss the conduct of your colleague, you bring a substantive motion, and within 3 days, Madam Speaker, after the approval of the Speaker, that matter is brought here. How do you allow, Mr. Speaker? I can understand the person who's misinforming him, because that's not an information, Mr. Speaker. Because perhaps, Mr. Speaker, they have not read Standing Order number 1014. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, is it in order for Senator Mogeni to begin to discuss the conduct of a colleague without a substantive motion?
Senator Mogeni, do you want to respond to that, please? Senator Cherargei, you are not on the chair, and you're out of order.
I plead with the chair to protect me from my good friend, colleague.
Senator
Cherargei.
Mogeni, please proceed.
Can the chair protect me from Senator Cherargei?
What has he done?
Every time, Madam Speaker, I step forward to speak, Senator Cherargei pops up like a popcorn.
Senator Cherargei, please
can you allow me to make
listen,
my contribution?
Listen to Senator, and Senator Mogeni, stop the exchange with Senator Cherargei. Please proceed to your point.
So, Madam Speaker, I'm not trying to impute any bad motive on my good friend, the Senator for Kericho. The point I was building, Madam Speaker, is that I agree with his submission this afternoon, Madam Speaker, that we should not behave like we are a conveyor belt for the executive, Madam Speaker. And I don't think there's anything out of order. He did state, Madam Speaker, that there is nothing wrong in disagreeing with a proposal that has come
Senator
from the
Mogeni,
executive.
Senator Mogeni, your point was not put the way you're putting it now.
Is it okay now?
If it is okay now, you'll have to withdraw. You'll have to withdraw. Senator Mogeni, please listen to me. You'll have to withdraw the manner in which, because you imputed that this is the only time the senator, the majority is, yeah. So please, let's make progress on this.
You know, Madam Speaker, it gets very difficult. You know, you are from my party, ODM. We come here to...
Senator, the chair is presiding for the House,
so what
not for a party.
What am I withdrawing? So that I can address my mind and withdraw. Where have I gone
Imputing an improper motive on a colleague. Please do that.
I apologize if I've imputed improper motive to my colleague.
Thank you, Senator, and proceed with your point.
So the point I was making, Madam Speaker, is that in this House, Madam Speaker, we should not always agree with the position of the executive, Madam Speaker. And we have made mistakes before. I was making reference to the share regulations, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, that we got a report, a reasoned report from the committee of, chaired, I believe that was by Mwenda Gataya, Madam Speaker. And because some of us thought that we were going to offend the executive, people were whipped to disagree with the report of that committee. And Madam Speaker, you know the suffering Kenyans have gone through. Because those regulations were not well thought out, they did not undergo a qualitative public participation, Madam Speaker. So when we are discussing
Senator
these
Cherarke,
things,
what is your point of order? Can you...
Madam Speaker, I rise under Standing Order 105 on accuracy of facts. When he says Kenyans have suffered courtesy of share regulations, does he have a facts that can prove?
Senator
Cherarke,
I rule that as a frivolous point of order.
It's not frivolous,
please sit down.
Speaker.
Senator Mogeni, please proceed.
It's not frivolous. I have not even...
I have ruled, Senator Cherarke, please sit down. Senator, please sit down. Let Senator Mogeni proceed.
you know, Madam
Senator
Speaker, have you heard what
Cherarke.
he has said? He has said that it seems like ODM is running
Cherarke,
the
withdraw
House.
what you have just said.
Let him withdraw. He has said that it seems ODM is running the House.
Senator Cherarke, can you withdraw your suggestion that the House is being run by ODM?
But then it was not
Senator Cherarke, can you withdraw? I heard that very well.
Madam Speaker, I withdraw only when the answer is produced.
Senator Cherarke, can you withdraw? I have ears, I heard it myself.
Madam Speaker, with all respect, I want to see the answer because I never said.
Senator Cherarke, I heard that as the Speaker, and I am directing that you withdraw that
Mr. Speaker,
directive.
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, I withdraw and apologize, but my point has been made.
Thank you.
But my point has been made.
So, Madam Speaker, the point I was making, Madam Speaker, is that we were not elected in this House, Madam Speaker, to take and accept everything that comes from the executive, Madam Speaker. And I'm giving you a very clear example on the sufferings.
Senator Cherarke, this is the last time I'm warning you. If you keep disrupting the House, I will actually throw you out.
Yeah, and Madam Speaker, I don't know the experience of other senators, including my good friend, Senator of Nandi, but I have many people from my county of Nyamira, Madam Speaker, who have had many problems in accessing treatment because of the way the share regulations were crafted. We know it. And Madam Speaker, I'm saying this with a heavy heart because I came here to fight for the people who elected me, Madam Speaker. And there is nobody, including the Senator for Nandi, who is happy when you see Kenyans who are vulnerable, who don't have the financial resources, going to hospitals and they cannot access treatment, Madam Speaker.
Senator Cherarke, what's your point of order?
How many times can you raise?
Madam Speaker, I raise understanding order 96 and 105 on accuracy of fact and 101 on contents of speech. For Senator Okongo Mugeni, is it in order to state that I'm happy that when the vulnerable and Kenyans are suffering, the issue of SHA is working in Nandi? Is it in order to cast aspersions, Mr. Speaker?
When did he, can you
Madam Speaker, he has mentioned me severally. Even you can check in answer.
and mention you in what context?
In bad light by saying I'm happy that when Kenyans are suffering. Me, I'm like an altar boy, Madam Speaker. I always feel
Senator
for all
Cherargei,
Kenyans.
please sit down. You are not going
But
to use
just,
this.
Madam Speaker, you need also to be fair.
Senator,
He just said you check with the answer.
Senator,
just said.
Senator Cherargei, please sit down so that Senator Mogeni can actually respond to the issues you're raising. Yeah. Have asked Senator Mogeni to respond to your point of order, and you're arguing with me.
You can inform me, Senator for Kiambu.
Senator for Kiambu, Senator Mogeni is fast responding to the point of order. Senator Mogeni, please.
Yes, Madam Speaker, Senator Cherargei is our colleague, is a lawyer. And every law student is told to be very attentive when he's listening to proceedings. I said, I don't think Senator Cherargei will be happy to see people suffering when they don't access. That's what I said. So is that imputing a bad motive? I said it in a very positive note.
Senator Cherargei, it has been clarified what you
That's what I said.
think is
And
not
Madam
what was said.
Speaker,
So
you
proceed.
can-
Now, what
you
is
can
your...
take note, Madam Speaker, that he has interrupted my debate 3 times. May you
Senator
also be
Mogeni,
attentive.
I am actually watching, so I'll leave that to the chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam.
Senator Thangwa, you may inform Senator Mogeni.
I wanted to inform Senator Mogeni that since the CS for Health, Aden Duale, banned the use of OTPs at the hospitals, SHA is not working. Reason, they say they want to use the biometric. But the doctors in every hospital, they're saying they have not been trained on how to use biometrics. So I wanted to tell you, you are right. You wouldn't want him, you believe you wouldn't want Kenyans to suffer when SHA is not working. And it is not working everywhere in the country. And I would want him to go to any hospital today.
Senator Thangwa, you are
I'm
informing him not using the opportunity to debate. So
I'm
Senator,
not debating.
Senator,
That's how I talk, Madam Speaker. That's
Senator,
how I inform. I can also inform you like that. I come from Kiambu.
Senator,
that's how I talk, Madam Speaker.
Senator,
it is
you
not
have
the
made your
tone,
information.
It is the message. It
Senator,
is not the tone, it's the message, Madam Speaker.
Senator Thangwa, you have done the information. That's what I'm saying.
He is
Senator
informed.
Mogeni.
He is informed.
Senator Sifuna.
Speaker, I just wanted you to guide the House on how many times somebody can rise on a point of order when somebody is standing on the floor, and whether it is possible that there's only one person, only one senator who knows when everybody is out of order, so that they are just the ones hogging points of order, Honorable Speaker. Guide us there. Can I raise multiple frivolous points of order without you taking any action on me? And can I be the only senator who sees when people are out of order? Just clarify that.
Yes, Senator.
I would also wish to find out from you whether it is allowed when other colleagues are speaking for somebody to shout and distract the colleague who's on the floor. Because it cannot be just one particular senator that every time when colleagues are speaking, they are shouting, they are stamping their feet, Mr. Speaker. Can you help this House understand? Because that is completely disorderly.
Senator Sifuna and Senator Majority Leader, you are speaking to the issue of disruption of debate. And to all members, as the chair, we will actually recognize frivolous points of order. We are again cautioning, I'm cautioning, that while you are in the House, you have no permission to speak while you've not been given the opportunity to speak. So those who are speaking cross to each other, please, you stand the danger of being thrown out of the house. So we will call, including you, Cherarki. So I'm calling on all of you. This is an important debate. I suggest that you listen to every person who is contributing in silence, and that the chair is not blind to the fact that she can record point of orders. And from now on, she will actually exercise the authority to put a stop to those kinds of... Senator Mogeni?
Yep. Yeah, in fact, now that Senator Cherargei has...
Senator Mogeni, please proceed on your point. Don't discuss Senator Cherargei.
No, I'm not...
Don't, please.
Madam Speaker, I'm not stopped from making reference to a point that has been drawn to my attention by my colleague. I'm happy, Madam Speaker, that Senator Cherargei has drawn my attention to the importance of me as Senator of Nyamira tabling before this House, Madam Speaker, cases of Kenyans who are residents of Nyamira who have been unable to access SHA treatment in hospitals. And Madam Speaker, I undertake as the Senator of Nyamira that I'll come with those documents with the names of people from Nyamira who have not been able to access treatment in hospitals because SHA is not working. Madam Speaker, now...
Do you want to be informed by Senator Khalwale?
Okay, bullfighter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Senator Mogeni, for allowing me to inform you. I will also help you when you're presenting those names. I'll bring you the registration certificate of St. Mary's Hospital, Mumias, which was founded in 1932, where Senator Sifuna was born. It has always functioned until SHA came. 3 weeks ago, Madam Speaker, the hospital closed down because their claims were not being honored. I'll bring you that certificate so that you help us to stop the suffering of the people of Mumias and Kakamega because of the closure of St. Mary's Hospital, thanks to the poor funding model of SHA. SHA will not succeed until the funding model is properly addressed.
You have duly informed. Senator Mogeni.
Yeah, so Madam Speaker, the intervention by Senator Cherargei was very useful.
Senator Mogeni, proceed.
Yeah.
No, I have refused the point of clarification.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will, yes. So, Madam Speaker, that's why we were elected as senators, Madam Speaker, because we must bring to the attention of the government of the day the suffering that a policy change is causing to our people. Madam Speaker, I have said this on this floor, Madam Speaker, that the interest of any senator is to ensure that you put smiles on the people you represent, Madam Speaker. What smile am I putting on people, Madam Speaker, if every time you go up country, you go to your account, you are reminded that NHIF used to help us access treatment in hospitals, Madam Speaker. I neighbor a mission hospital called Lichuni, Madam Speaker. And that is the best hospital in terms of facilities, run by the Catholic fathers, Madam Speaker. But as we speak, many people, including my own neighbors, are not able to access treatment in those hospitals, Madam Speaker. So what is the purpose of bringing a policy change, Madam Speaker, that brings pain to the people that we are supposed to lead, Madam Speaker? So I want to state on this floor that if you challenge us, Madam Speaker, to table the documents, I'll come even with a box of evidence to show you the kind of suffering Kenyans are going through. And when I was making reference to regulations, Madam Speaker, and building the point, Madam Speaker, that when I went to school, I was taught about a theory called cognitive, if I've not forgotten, cognitive theory, which says once you attain 12 years, you will never think the same. So even a cabinet secretary should know, or the executive should know that when they propose a law, Madam Speaker, to the floor, The 68 senators don't have to think the same, Madam Speaker. You remember we made proposals to amend the housing levy. Very progressive proposals. They were rejected because we were told the position of the government must carry the day. Those taxes have caused a lot of pain, Madam Speaker. They have caused a lot of pain. That policy change remains very unpopular in this country, Madam Speaker. The housing levy. Because even the policemen, everybody is complaining. The pay slip has shrinked, Madam Speaker. Because as legislators, we are not given time to assist the executive to moderate some of these laws, Madam Speaker. Because that's why we are here, Madam Speaker. We are here so that when the government proposes a law, if it is oppressive to Kenyans, we moderate it, Madam Speaker. So I salute the spirit I've seen this afternoon, Madam Speaker, where we are closing ranks, Madam Speaker, to reject these regulations, Madam Speaker. Because a cabinet secretary cannot pick regulations where public participation was done 7 years ago. And then you say, now I'm gazetting these regulations and they must take effect. Madam Speaker, on the issue of public participation, the committee is telling us here, Madam Speaker, that there was no meaningful public participation. And I want to tell this House, Madam Speaker, that in some countries, public participation means that you vote on a proposed legislation. Madam Speaker, if you go to Switzerland, any proposed law, okay, like what we are just discussing, you want to deny Kenyans the right of using NHIF to share. Madam Speaker, you take that to a vote. That's what they call public participation. Our Constitution has it there that there must be public participation, Madam Speaker. Next time we enact a law, Madam Speaker, let us make it very clear, Madam Speaker, that for any change in a policy that is as drastic as what I've seen in SHA or in housing levy, the people must vote on it. That's what we call public participation, Madam Speaker. If you go to Australia, Madam Speaker, any change in policy must have the approval of the people. Even proposing that a bar should close past 9, you take it to the people and they vote, Madam Speaker. In London, Madam Speaker, before you even cut a tree to affect the environment, the fresh air, in an area, you go to the people and they pass that policy in a vote, Madam Speaker. For the Australians to allow same-sex marriage, just changing the law to say a man can marry another man, they had to go to a referendum. It passed narrowly by 52%. They did not say that we just go and ask people here and there. No, the people had to vote on it. That's what we call meaningful public participation, Madam Speaker. Because what is the purpose of taking a law to the people? They tell you they don't disagree, Madam Speaker, but we still go ahead and enact it. Because we are exercising delegated power on behalf of the people who elected us to this House, Madam Speaker. That's why, Madam Speaker, when this the report of delegated committee tells us that there was no meaningful public participation, I fully agree with it, Madam Speaker. And that is what is guiding me this afternoon, Madam Speaker, in stating that I agree fully with the Committee on Delegated Legislation that we should reject this regulation, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, at times, we want to make it so hard for people who are coming to be investors in this country, Madam Speaker. Why are countries like Dubai ahead of us? It's because they have made it easy for people to do business. They have made it easy, Madam Speaker, for people to move to Dubai and build homes. But in this country, we are just thinking about regulations. How are we going to attract investors, Madam Speaker, if every day you want to put roadblocks? How? We cannot be competitive, Madam Speaker. It's 4 hours away between here and Dubai. In 1970, Dubai was a useless, not useless, it was a struggling third world country, a desert like us. But because of the policies, the regulations that they put in place that are very attractive, they tell you this thing you call a tax, they say we will make your life comfortable. We will not overburden you in terms of the tax you pay. That's why even as a country, Madam Speaker, let us re-examine our taxation policy, Madam Speaker. Because if you overtax investors, they will go to other jurisdictions. They will go to Rwanda and look at the tax regime. If they find it more attractive, more accommodative, they will move there. And who suffers at the end of the day is us, Madam Speaker. And it's the people who come to invest who will provide employment to the many youths who are out there, who are jobless, Madam Speaker. Because government cannot employ everybody. These unemployed youths cannot all be absorbed by the Public Service Commission, Madam Speaker. So when we reject regulations that are going to make it burdensome, Madam Speaker, for investors to come, we are doing the right thing as the Senate of the Republic of Kenya, Madam Speaker. So I want to assure my good friend, Senator of Kericho, my neighbor, that I did not make my statements trying to impute any bad motive, Madam Speaker. But I was saying, in a multi-party democracy like where we are, in a liberal democracy, under our 2010 Constitution, it is not a crime, Madam Speaker, at times to disagree with the legislation proposed by the executive. Madam, there is nothing criminal. That's why we are a multi-party democracy, Madam Speaker. That's why we are paid as Kenyans to receive legislations, take them through public participation, make a report to this House, and then the House either agrees or rejects. There's nothing criminal about it, Madam Speaker. And you know that those who are before us have made mistakes. The people who are here in this House passed Section 2A in 1982. But later on they realized it was a mistake. Yes, let's learn from history.
Senator Thangwa.
Very well. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also comment on this issue. Although, Madam Speaker, I don't know whether to support, to annul, or to oppose the annulment, Madam Speaker. I'm a little bit confused because of two issues. One, and it's what was raised by Senator Mogeni and maybe Senator Sifuna, when you see the senators from the government side bringing a motion to annul something from government, sometimes you ask yourself so many questions, Madam Speaker. So I'm trying to think what could be the motive. Because, Madam Speaker, if you read the report says that the PS for Environment wrote to the same committee on 25th of July asking...
Senator Cherargei, what is the point of order?
He has started again.
Madam Speaker, and it is on record, point of order is a right. Madam Speaker, standing order 96 and Article 108, in this floor of the House, there are no government senators. What the Constitution recognizes under Article 108 is majority and minority. Is it in order for the Kiambu senator to refer government senators? Is it in order?
Senator Thangwa, can you use the correct language? It's a majority or minority?
Madam Speaker, as I was saying that I'm not sure whether to support or to oppose, because when you see the majority side of this House, that's always fight for the same government. Even when you mention the name Ruto, they'll come up with a point of order. When you mention that name, they will always a point of order, Mr. Speaker. Today, they are telling us to oppose the government that they have always been defending here. So I'm a little bit conflicted, Madam Speaker. And as I was saying, that is one of the reasons. I'm trying to understand what they're trying to do. But number two, Madam Speaker, number two, the PS for Environment wrote to the same committee on 25th of July this year, a few days ago, telling the committee, I have withdrawn the regulations. Give me a bit of time to go and conduct fresh public participation. So, Madam Speaker, the government is willing to do fresh public participation. But here, we are being told, let's nullify. So that's what I'm saying. I'm for sure not understanding. But I will support them for only one reason. Support the annulment. Because, Madam Speaker, this public participation, which is very important that we consult Kenyans frequently, was done 7 years ago. And those who do or conduct public participation are from 18 and above. So if we say somebody was 17 years then, today they are 24, Madam Speaker. So that means there's a group of people that would want to comment on this issue. But that is not my point even, Madam Speaker. My point is, we understand, because we need to consult Kenyans frequently, and we understand Kenyans change their mind, Madam Speaker, it's good to keep on consulting them. Because even as we stand here, there are people we voted for in 2022, and we have already changed our mind. Those are 3 years ago. So, Madam Speaker, when it comes to 7 years ago, so many people changed their mind on this issue. Even those who are not consulted then, they are of age and they can be consulted today, Madam Speaker. So I'm only supporting them on that issue because we have been vindicated. People can change their mind in whatever time, Madam Speaker. So for now, I'm supporting them because of that. And we would want that the CS conducts fresh and inclusive public participations so that we can hear what Kenyans are saying, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you also recall that we passed a law called the Climate Change
Senator
Act.
Thangwa, just before you proceed, the last time I checked the records, I think you are a majority senator. So I think what we need to take into account that every senator here has the freedom to contribute as they wish.
Yes, Madam Speaker, but we rarely see that. Madam Speaker, I was saying that if you recall in 2023, this House plus the National Assembly, we passed or amended the Climate Change Act 2023. And they go in tandem with the same Act of Environment Management and Coordination Act, Madam Speaker. So if we dealt with with matters climate or matters environment in the Climate Act, then they could have probably affected these regulations that were enacted or that were drafted 7 years ago, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, some stakeholders say they were not consulted. And it is always nice, and that's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm not understanding. The majority, call me in there, but I know myself, Madam Speaker. I don't understand why they are so much into it that this time we want to listen to the people. But on some instances, Madam Speaker, when we are on this floor, nobody wants to listen to the people. And that's what we have been saying, Madam Speaker. But we have indicated, and we are happy. And this should be the spirit, that everything that comes to this floor, let the people be listened to. Let the people be consulted. Let there be public participation, Madam Speaker. And that's what they're saying, Madam Speaker. It has been quoted out there, skis are ground, Madam Speaker. People should be listened to at whatever level, at whatever aspect, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, what you are calling for by annulling these regulations, Madam Speaker, is that we call for fresh, inclusive engagement. That's all, Madam Speaker, and I support the annulment.
Senator Sifuna.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to start by, applauding the Committee on Delegated Legislation led by Gataya Mofaya for this bold decision that has led the House to rally behind the entire committee, that when something is wrong, we as a leadership have a responsibility to say that it is wrong. Honorable Speaker, the key reason why the committee has decided that we annul these regulations is because the ministry responsible is bringing to us regulations claiming that participation of the people was had 7 years ago. That is in 2018, Honorable Speaker. Very many things have changed between now and 2018. In fact, Honorable Speaker, I don't think that 7 years ago, I had just been appointed as SG of ODM, there's been a long, long period. This is my 8th year there. There's a lot of things that have changed, including in the political space. Speaker, just for perspective and to understand how important it is for the government to understand that when Parliament passes a law, it is the responsibility of government to operationalize that law so that the people can enjoy the benefits of that legislation. It is unconscionable to go 7, 10 years without actually having actualized the law. And I want to give this House the most poignant of examples, Honorable Speaker. There is a bill that we passed as a Parliament in 2017 called the National Coroner's Service Bill. In the current context of the discussions about police brutality and the killings that are attributable to the security forces, Honorable Speaker, and the difficulty that the Independent Policing Oversight Authority is facing investigating these crimes and actually bringing rogue officers to book, Honorable Speaker, it is unconscionable that 8 years later, somebody is sitting on the regulations that would operationalize the National Coroner's Service Bill. This particular bill, Honorable Speaker, would require mandatory reporting of all deaths and setting up of a coroner's service that would investigate all violent and sudden and suspicious deaths and make it easier for IPOA and the prosecutorial powers to actually go after the rogue police officers. Honorable Speaker, I am happy that in this particular House, out of the NADCO process, one of the NADCO bills, we have made a proposal to criminalize or to put criminal penalty on people whose responsibility it is to bring these regulations and who either neglect, fail, or refuse to come up with the regulations or sit on them. I was told a story, Honorable Speaker, that there exists a situation in this country that the head of public service has abrogated himself the right to approve gazette notices and the gazettement of regulations. Now, as far as I understand the legislative process, Honorable Speaker, the head of public service has no legal basis or constitutional basis to be the one to determine the contents of regulations when they are gazetted or if at all they are gazetted. It is something that needs to be looked into, Honorable Speaker, because these issues are critical. These issues are critical, Honorable Speaker. When we talk about the specter of extrajudicial killings, people think we are just saying because we like to oppose everything that government is doing. But they have consequences on the standing of the country and the nation that is Kenya on the world stage. Just recently we were told, Honorable Speaker, that the US Congress is now reviewing the major NATO ally status of Kenya, and part of the review will cover these cases of abductions, torture, and violence against civilians. It has become difficult for us to find justice against the rogue police officers who have killed our young people because of failure by people in government to actually put in place regulations for important bills, such as the Coroner's Service Bill. Speaker, I will not take more time than that, just to appreciate our colleagues in that committee, chaired by Mofire, Senator Faki, Maanzo Montet, and the others, including Boy Juma, for putting a foot down. And the point that the Senator for Nyabera was making, Honorable Speaker, which I thought was misunderstood, is that every single opportunity, we as a House must validate our space in the constitutional order, because there exists separation of powers. The executive should not know how the House will treat a proposal that comes from them before the proposal lands on the floor, because there is an expectation that we've been given constitutional power by the people to give an objective view of every single proposal that has come from the executive, so that it doesn't matter if I was elected on the ruling party or the party that is in opposition. I, as a member of this House exercising that legislative power, at the very minimum should give Kenyans an objective review of that proposal before I say nay or yay. Speaker, Khalwale has just informed me that the hospital where my placenta was cut has now been shut down. And it reminded me of the debate about Senator Kajwang's former university.
Senator, it's the placenta of your mother.
The placenta is shared by the mother and the child. I don't think any party can claim whose placenta it is. It is also mine, and I can text my mother here to confirm whose placenta it was.
Proceed, Senator.
But anyway, it reminded me of that debate, Honorable Speaker. I don't know if you recall. when Moi University was facing closure. And Senator Kajwang, who went to Moi University, was asking, now what will I tell people? When they ask me, which school did you go to? How can you make reference to an institution that does not exist anymore? So I am finding myself in the same dilemma as the Senator from Homa Bay, Honorable Speaker, that now I can no longer convince people that I was born in a decent faith-run institution, Honorable Speaker, because it has been closed down. And we must do everything. We must do everything. Because in 1982, Honorable Speaker, to find an institution such as that was able to safely deliver somebody who can become a senator for Nairobi, it was not easy, Honorable Speaker. So it breaks my heart that has befallen that hospital, and all it takes is for this government to ensure that the system they have put in place when it comes to management of our healthcare, it works. If it works, you don't need to defend it. You see, this is the problem I have, Honorable Speaker. Everybody can see when something is working, and if you defend it so hard, and the people in the villages there, I was in a very rural village called Luhome, somewhere in Saboti, Honorable Speaker, over the weekend. And I can tell you, the question was put to those women. They have lost Linda Mama, SHA is no longer working, it doesn't work for them. So why do we insist, instead of just taking back this feedback and tweaking the system, the way that CBK dealt with the questions that were raised about voiding of payments, and they have told us that they have taken steps to ensure that it will no longer be possible for county officials to void payments. That is the sort of government we want, a government that just listens to criticism and takes corrective measures. I was very pleased myself when, after bringing the question of university accommodation fees here, the ministry actually took steps to correct that. That is what we expect from a government that is responsive, not just being defensive and sending hecklers to heckle us down here in Parliament whenever we raise these issues. People like, I don't want to mention them, Honorable Speaker. I've finished. Thank you.
Senator Tabitha Mutinda.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I rise, first of all, to really appreciate the Committee of Delegated Legislation, led by none other than the Senator of Tharaka Nithi, Mofaya. Madam Speaker, I was just looking at the issues that the committee looked at, as far as, yes, we are trying to address that the issue of public participation, which was lastly conducted in 2015. 10 years down the line, Madam Speaker, according to the report that I've looked into, although I've had colleagues talk about 2018, but just to clarify from their report, they're saying that it was the year 2015, Madam Speaker. I've also tried to look at the issues that they were able to raise, Madam Speaker, and they are very valid issues. One of them, Madam Speaker, being on the issues of the cost or the fees that needs to be charged. These are fees that had been proposed those 10 years ago, Madam Speaker. We are 10 years down the line and things have changed. And the committee felt that there needs to be an intervention as far as these fees are concerned, because the fees that had been proposed at that particular time were on the higher side, Madam Speaker. The other issues that I've also looked at that the committee was also able to raise was the issue of obstruction by community members from accessing the resources in the forest, Madam Speaker. And the committee felt that this needs to have changed because it protects their interest as a community, and there should not be obstruction in them being able to access. These are very valid concerns, Madam Speaker. And these issues can only be addressed when proper public fair participation is done, and the people are given an opportunity to be able to air their views, give their proposals, offer their submissions, Madam Speaker, so that some of these issues can be able to be addressed. And it is good that institutions respect the process of legislation, the process that requires maximum public participation. Madam Speaker, that is why we normally, as committees, have budgets of media budgets. These are budgets that are entitled to each committee, whereby the committee is able to advertise to the public, for those who wish to participate in the public participation, Madam Speaker, so that they are able to maximally bring in their views. The committee is able to look at, into those issues and also be able to, give guidance or see what fits here, what does not fit here, and all that. That is the main reason, Madam Speaker. And it is important, Madam Speaker, to say, if it was just in our space to legislate without public participation, then, it will not really be fair to the public, because these laws are not for us as individuals, as members. These laws are for this country, Madam Speaker. And they cut across for every Kenyan, Madam Speaker. And so advertisement of the same is very important. Madam Speaker, I've seen also whereby the same committee, delegated committee, Madam Speaker, was able to question where, if the ministry had prepared and submitted a regulatory impact statement, and there was no documentation that had been provided to show whether the public was notified, Madam Speaker. And the committee was able to trace that there was no documentation that could be traced at all. Very valid concerns, meaning that the committee was able to dig deeper. First, on if there was any documentation, and two, analyzing the regulations that are currently in place. Are they worthy to be in place in this year, 2025? Madam Speaker, further then, when you look at the years that we're talking about from 2015 to date, when we normally invite most of these public offices or these different stakeholders, in most cases they are normally accompanied by their legal teams. And so I wonder, I really wonder where the legal department has been, because this is laxity for the legal department in the same ministry. They should be the ones advising the minister. They should be the ones advising as far as all these concerns, are. Because if they had done their part, then we would not be actually here looking at this nullification. And I'm bringing this because, Madam Speaker, they should be able now and should work with speed with the same leadership of the committee to ensure that they submit the right changes through the same public participation and properly advise the same ministry so that these changes can be adapted with the current place where we are today in 2025. And I speak from where I sit as also a member of the climate caucus led by ours truly, Senator Kajwang. Because today in 2025, we are speaking matters climate change. These are issues that need to be captured in the same regulations, Madam Speaker. And I feel it's just a matter of the people, the officials or officers who are mandated to be able to undertake their legal mandate have not been up to the task as required, Madam Speaker. And it should be known that public participation is not specific to any, it is open to all Kenyans, to all stakeholders who want to have and put their input as far as specific legislation is concerned, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as the debate has been going on, I've been keen to hear my colleagues when they talked about the issue of SHA, Madam Speaker. And this is a very important discussion. I speak as a member of the Health Committee, Madam Speaker, and we've been out there doing our oversight, visiting different hospitals, level 5 hospital, the county, sub-county hospitals, and I personally have been keen on getting to understand, is SHA working? And if it's not working, what is the challenge? And Madam Speaker, in most, and as recent as Kilifi County, where we were actually last weekend, one of my concerns was from the desk of, is it the desk of admissions, the person who is in charge in terms of receiving payments and also the issues of SHA. And we were able to ask as a committee, is SHA working? The response was, yes, it is working. The only challenge that was in place is that there was no digitalization. People had to really leave their ID cards, be given a small form, they fill up, but also the same clients or the patients who are in that particular hospital, we were able to interact with them and ask them, is SHA working? And according to them, they said yes, and they are sorted and the process is ongoing, Madam Speaker. There should be conversations of, this is the specific challenge. It cannot just be generalized that it is not working. It is good to say what specifically is not working. What is the exact problem, what is the exact challenge, Madam Speaker, but not just a generalization that a system is not working. I've had my senator talk about the hospital that he proudly says he was born in, which is good, and asked, what will I tell the future generation, my generation, if this hospital does not exist? It's the same question I asked today. What will we say if we still continue allowing people to put fire in this country, to burn this country? Then where will we say we are coming from? Which Kenya will we call home, Madam Speaker? It is important that as much as we are highlighting the problem, we highlight the problem, and at the same time, offer solution unto the same problem. It cannot just be negative critique without a solution. Leadership is identifying the problem, and leadership is also offering the same problem on the same platform. We are not going to get out here in Senate after 2027 with certificate of either who was shouting more than the other, who had more point of orders than the other. It is not about that. It is what we've been able to deliver as a house. There is no law that is for Senator Boni Halwale. There is no law that is for Senior Senator Oburu Odinga. This law is for us as a country, as the people of this nation. That should sink very well, Madam Speaker. But it's not about the highest shouting person. With those many and few, I really appreciate the committee on the same and urge them through their leadership to fast track that these amendments and these regulations will be up to date. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Kajwang.
Madam Speaker, I rise to support the recommendation of the Committee on Delegated Legislation that the House should annul the Environmental Management and Coordination, Strategic and Integrated Environmental Assessments and Environmental Audits Regulations 2025 of 2025. Madam Speaker, I have looked at the two main reasons that have been advanced by the committee, and I do agree that those reasons are solid enough for this House to be moved to annul those regulations. The first reason given is lack of public participation. Public participation on these regulations were done in the year 2018. And Madam Speaker, if you live in this country, you know that the political environment and terrain in this country has changed significantly from 2018 to date. Perhaps even the aspirations of Kenyans have changed. Perhaps even the policy and focus of government has changed. In fact, it has changed significantly. In 2018, Madam Speaker, we are talking of the Big Four. And 2018, Madam Speaker, one very interesting thing is that Senator Boni Halwale and I were riding on the top of a similar vehicle when we were welcoming Baba from the United States of America. And we were tear gassed, we were clobbered for 6 hours. When we got to Gikomba, Madam Speaker, the traders in Gikomba came out with the sticks and rungus and were generally very violent. Senator Boni Halwale disappeared. I've not known to date how he got out of my car, but the situation was very tense. That was 2018. Today, Boni Halwale is a chief whip of the government. And so the views given in 2018, really, Madam Speaker, we cannot use them to support or to augment regulations in the year 2025. Madam Speaker, we have moved full cycle from Big Four. We went to handshake. We went to Tanga regime. We got into a new government that started with bottom up. And then from bottom up, it was, after bottom up, it was, before it was shareholders. It was a government of shareholders. After becoming a government of shareholders, it then became a government whose, to whom the most urgent national priority was to eject the deputy president. And then after that, it became the government of broad base. And now, at least the nation has stabilized. Madam Speaker, you cannot use public participation of 2018 to support regulations today. A lot of things have changed in this country. And in fact, Madam Speaker, to be honest, if assuming the former deputy president was involved in public participation in 2018 in these regulations, do you think he will hold the same views that he held in 2018 today? Definitely not. And that is why public participation must be timely. It must be current. It must be relevant. It needs to be fresh. It needs to be like news. On that basis, Madam Speaker, I agree with the committee that these regulations must be annulled and should be rejected. The second basis is that when the regulations were published, the fees and tariffs were not included. And Madam Speaker, that is an extremely material feature or aspect of regulations that cannot be ignored. Because the Statutory Instruments Act has a very clear definition of what a statutory instrument is. And Madam Speaker, for avoidance of doubt, it talks about any rule, any order, any regulation, any direction, any form, any tariff of costs or fees. You cannot exclude tariff of costs and fees from such regulation and then give the Cabinet Secretary the power to impose that. Madam Speaker, we must remember that delegated legislation or statutory instruments, I think in the UK they call it secondary legislation. It is this parliament that has donated the power that has been given to it by the people to the executive. Madam Speaker, sometimes, and this debate has been going on in the Commons, there's been concern about what is called skeleton legislation, where Parliament passes a framework, a skeleton, and then says the Cabinet Secretary shall prescribe regulations. We did that with the Health Acts. When we were in Turkana, Madam Speaker, we were in a rush because the President told us that something good was brewing and that if we passed the 4 Health Acts, then everyone was going to get free medication in this country. We are going to get free health insurance. And Madam Speaker, every time I sit in the committee, I chair of Public Accounts Committee, I see governors present their receiver of revenue statements. And they come and tell me they are proud that they've grown their own source revenue. And they have grown it from hospitals. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 hospitals. And I ask myself, if governors are making so much money out of hospitals, then where is this promise and dream of free and universal health coming from? I expect that in the next financial year, every governor would be reporting zero as fees collected from people in level 1, level 2, level 3, and perhaps even level 4 hospital. But look at all the counties, including my own county. We have grown our own source revenue beyond 1 billion Kenya shillings on the strength of hospital fees. Why are we still collecting money from the poor people? And yet we are supposed to be having one universal healthcare system and insurance in this republic. It's because we passed skeleton legislation. We were in a rush to get out of Turkana. We were in a rush to pass the legislation. And then we said the Cabinet Secretary shall prescribe and shall come up with regulations. Madam Speaker, I want to congratulate Senator Mofaya, who chairs this committee. And I keep reminding him that this is one of the most powerful committees of this House, because it ensures that that power that has been donated to the executive cannot be abused. It has been abused grossly in the past. I can give you a few examples, Madam Speaker. I've given the example of the Health Acts. We passed in this House the Fisheries Management and Development Act. That was in the year 2016. And it is one of the proudest laws. I just come into Parliament, and I was so proud that we are coming up with a regulatory and legislative framework that was going to open up our blue economy and that was going to make our people rich, that was going to make our people benefit from the natural resources that have been put in the seas and the lakes and the oceans that we have around us. To date, Madam Speaker, you have regulations that have not been brought to this House. And as a result, the Fisheries Management and Development Act cannot be enforced. Indeed, Madam Speaker, it is an insult to the fisher folk in this country when we heard the other day that the Fish Marketing Authority and Kenya Fisheries Services are some of the state organizations that are bound to be disbanded because they are offering no value. Madam Speaker, when we came up with specific parastatals and bodies to support specific crops, for example, the Dairy Board supports the dairy sector. I've not heard anyone say the Dairy Board should be disbanded. The Coffee Board, the Tea Board. Madam Speaker, when Mwai Kibaki became president, the policy was consolidation. And we came up with one super agency called AFA, Agriculture, Food, Fisheries, and Livestock Authority. But along the way, it was clear that AFA did not have the capacity to deliver the changes and the dream that was in the strategy for revitalization of agriculture that was espoused by Mwai Kibaki. As a result, people started divesting. Fisheries divested, coffee divested, tea divested, dairy divested, even livestock. I believe there's a livestock bill before this house. Why should the other sectors divest? And then when it comes to our fish, we are being told that that is going to be too small a parastatal, and that parastatal, whatever it is doing, can be done by the ministry. If that is the case, then let's collapse everything else so that we are equal. Madam Speaker, the same absurdity extended to the Cotton Development Act. This House, this Parliament, passed the Cotton Development Bill, which was sponsored by Senator Betsy Yengo. Both houses agreed. The bill was sent to the President for assent. The President did not assent on time. And then 3 months later, as an afterthought, the President returned the bill back to Parliament with a memorandum. And what was the memorandum saying? That it is not government policy to establish additional boards, that the cotton development and management can be done by the line ministry. We don't hear the same argument when it comes to other crops and products. Madam Speaker, I hope that the Agriculture Committee, where I sit, has reported back to this House that the committee rejected the President's memorandum because they were filed outside time. So that what now we expect is gazettement of the Cotton Development Act and for its implementation so that cotton farmers can also be considered to be part of this republic, just the same way farmers of other crops and products have been given protection, have been given autonomy, have been given statutory independence. That is what we expect for cotton and we expect for fisheries. In this Parliament, Madam Speaker, you have seen regulations have been circulated to honorable members regarding the Parliamentary Service Commission constituency office regulations. Madam Speaker, that has been the biggest joke in this Parliament, that this Senate has failed to influence the publication of regulations that will ensure that the office of the Senate is treated slightly differently from the office of the Member of National Assembly. The reason why, and perhaps the public needs to know this, that a senator like Senator of Nairobi, who has how many constituencies? Has 17 constituencies. The money that is sent to support the operations of the senator from Nairobi is the same amount of money that is sent to a single member constituency. And yet it takes care of 17 electoral units. I take care of 8, Madam Speaker. The resource, the budget, the envelope I have for staff and operations, and even office rent, can only keep me in one place. I cannot be present in all the 8 constituencies or all the 40 wards. Why? Because our hands are tied by that regulation that defined our offices as constituency offices. Madam Speaker, I have been in this argument from the 11th Parliament, when Kiraitu Murungi attempted to move an amendment to the Parliamentary Service Commission Act to establish alternative structures that would give specialized focus and attention to the Senate. It was killed in the 11th Parliament. In the 12th Parliament, we tried again. We even went to the United States of America, Madam Speaker. We visited about 5 states. We went through state legislatures to understand the relationship between state legislatures, to understand the relationship and operations of Congress and the House of Representatives. We came back with a report. Again, we proposed amendments to those regulations. They were again vetoed. They were actually vetoed by the other house, and that time, our late departed friend, the late senator for Baringo, the Honorable Cheptumo, was the chair of that committee. I am glad that before his demise, he had the decency and he had the courage to apologize in this House, because he said when he was on that side, he never understood what happened in the Senate. So, Madam Speaker, statutory instruments and delegated legislation has been used and has been abused, but people think that it is the laziness of representatives in these houses that leads to that abuse, that we are quick to pass a framework or we are quick to pass a skeleton of a law, and then we leave it to the cabinet secretaries to fill the blanks. And some of them really abuse that. One of the abused statutory instruments was the Equalization Fund Management Regulations. Madam Speaker, those regulations came to this House at the end of the 12th Parliament. There was a lot of pressure. There was a handshake scenario. And then the chair of that committee was the senator from Mombasa, Senator Faki. And so Senator Faki had to convince the House to pass regulations that excluded senators from the Equalization Fund. And the regulations created structures at county level where the money from the Equalization Fund would be managed through a county technical committee chaired by the county commissioner, where the county government had only one representative, one CC. But the NGCDF also had a representative in that county technical committee. It went down to the constituency technical committee, all the way down to the ward technical committee. Today, many of us are unaware of what the Equalization Fund is doing in our respective areas. Even governors do not know what the Equalization Fund is doing. Why? Because the money is considered to be national government that is managed through national government administrative structures. And that is why yesterday we had this problem, where the National Assembly has come up with a parallel bill on the Equalization Fund, because they still think that that money is theirs, that money is for their control, but we allowed it to happen, Madam Speaker. I wish Senator Faki was here. He would have told us that he promised this House that let us pass these regulations to allow access to the fund, because the fund had not been drawn for a long time for lack of regulations. And he promised, and he told us here that the government had promised that we're going to bring amendments. To date, I do not think the amendments that have been brought. And so that is why we must annul these regulations, so that no one promises us that they'll be amended. They will never be amended out of experience. Madam Speaker, let me finalize by calling upon my colleagues that whatever we are doing here in this House is our primary responsibility as elected leaders. Madam Speaker, a poll was conducted in the United Kingdom to find out what the public expects of members of parliament. Lawmaking was like the last priority or the last expectation. If a similar poll was to be conducted here in Kenya, Madam Speaker, I can tell you that the people we represent, their expectation of a member of parliament, including senator and member of National Assembly, expectation number one is to build classrooms. Expectation number two, to issue bursaries. Number three, to attend funerals. Number four, to issue handouts without fail. Number five is to attend rallies where you can insult imaginary and real enemies. And number 5, 6 could be issuance of statements. Lawmaking is the least glamorous and is the least considered job of a member here. Madam Speaker, I see and I admire even the new members of this parliament. Senator Sifuna joined in this 13th parliament. He is here not just because he's a whip, but he believes that the core mandate, the critical duty of a legislator is to legislate, not empowerment rallies, even though I saw him doing an empowerment one the other day. But it is not the money that caught my attention. It was the conversation that caught my attention. But that's a story for another day. But he knows that being in this house is the reason why the people of Nairobi elected him. But, Speaker, the senator from Nandi,